linking Governor Siminalayi Fubara to militant factions responsible for the recent spate of pipeline vandalism and security breaches. These accusations, propagated by political adversaries seeking to undermine his administration, is believed to lack substantive evidentiary foundation and instead reflect a broader pattern of democratic subversion in Nigeria's volatile political landscape. On Tuesday, 18th of March 2025, President Bola Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, citing diverse reasons such as the political impasse in the state, the implications of the recent Supreme Court judgment, and the willful destruction of oil pipelines by militants allegedly sympathetic to the embattled governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara. The president also announced a 6-month suspension of the governor, his deputy, Ngozi Odu, and all elected legislators. The suspended officials were replaced by Ibok Ete Ibas, a retired vice admiral, who will serve as Rivers administrator for 6 months. Mr. Ibas is expected to essentially govern the oil-rich state for the next 6 months, but his policies have to be approved by the Federal Executive Council, led by Mr. Tinubu. This comprehensive report by the Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group is a forensic examination of the circumstances surrounding these allegations, with the aim to meticulously dissect these allegations, juxtapose them against verifiable facts, and ultimately absolves Governor Fubara from these unsubstantiated claims. Furthermore, it exposes the deliberate machinations aimed at destabilizing this government and calls for urgent remedial actions to safeguard democratic governance in Rivers State. The ascendancy of Governor Siminalayi Fubara was heralded as a moment of restoration of hope, symbolizing its commitment to addressing these long-standing grievances through democratic and peaceful avenues. However, it is noteworthy to state that the political milieu in Rivers State has been further complicated by the involvement of influential figures, such as the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, who is Governor Fubara's immediate predecessor, and whose recent utterances have ignited controversy and unrest. At the heart of this crisis sits the toxic legacy of political oppression, wherein the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Wike, has held the state's political and economic machinery with an iron-fisted hand. Observations and matters arise. Nigeria's political system has for long been plagued in all angles by the corrosive influence of godfatherism, a phenomenon where powerful political figures impose proteges into offices and subsequently demand unbridled control over state resources. It's very unfortunate that Rivers State, as one of Nigeria's most strategic states, has struggled to remain immune to this malaise. The deteriorating relationship between Wike and Fubara transcends mere political disagreement. It represents a fundamental battle for the soul of Rivers State. Wike's public denunciations of Fubara, coupled with clandestine maneuvers to incite legislative rebellion against the governor, revealed a calculated strategy to render the state ungovernable. However, Minister Wike, the immediate past governor and current minister of the FCT, is an example of an entrenched godfatherism. His greedy insistence on maintaining a strong grip over Rivers State's political threshold, even after his transition into federal office, has proven to be a brazen disregard for democratic succession and institutional autonomy. This delusion came from supporting Fubara's governorship aspiration, which is no different from what every other party loyalist would have done for their own governorship candidates too. However, Governor Fubara's refusal to subject himself to Wike's overbearing influence became the beginning of an irreparable political rift, which went in to trigger a relentless campaign to discredit and destabilize Governor Fubara's administration. So much of a man who sees the political support as an entitlement for the control of state resources. Controversial remarks made by Minister Nyesom Wike. It has been observed that Minister Wike's recent statements have been a catalyst for the present heightened tensions within Rivers State. His characterization of the Ijaw community as the minority of minorities has been perceived as dismissive and inflammatory, exacerbating existing ethnic sensitivities. Furthermore, his insinuation that various ethnic groups, including the Ogbonis and Ikweris, possess the capacity to engage in militant activities and sabotage critical infrastructure has been widely criticized as reckless and provocative. These remarks have elicited strong condemnations from various quarters, including the Ijaw National Congress, which has dismissed Wike's comment as misinformed and detrimental to the region's stability. Governor Fubara's commitment to peace and security. In stark contrast to the allegations leveled against him, Governor Fubara has dutifully and consistently demonstrated a strong commitment to the peace and security of Rivers State. From records, we discovered that his administration has undertaken numerous initiatives which are aimed at fostering harmony and safeguarding vital national assets. Notably, Governor Fubara played an important role as a member of the Presidential Committee on the Protection of Oil Installations in the region, underscoring his dedication to preserving the state's economic lifelines. Deniers of allegations and calls for accurate information. The assertion that Governor Fubara has ties to militant groups is not only baseless, but also a deliberate fabrication designed to tarnish his reputation. Governor Fubara has categorically denied any affiliations with militant groups. His chief press secretary, Nelson Chukwudi, recently issued a statement emphasizing that the governor has no involvement with threats made by militants and has not in any capacity endorsed attacks on oil installations. A thorough investigation conducted by the Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group revealed the following. 1. No financial trails. There is no evidence of financial transactions between the state government and known militant factions. 2. No operational links. Security agencies have not established any communication or logistical coordination between Fubara's administration and militant cells. 3. Public condemnation. Governor Fubara has consistently denounced violence, urging aggrieved groups to embrace dialogue. Apparently, Governor Fubara, far from instigating these actions, has been a voice of restraint, appealing for calm and emphasizing the rule of law. Debunking fake videos. In order to discredit the administration of Governor Fubara, some detractors were uploading some videos online that were depicting attacks on different oil pipelines around some communities. On a thorough investigation, we discovered that the creators uploaded old and doctored videos linking them to alleged militant groups in the state with the intent of trying very hard to paint the militant group as supporters of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Presently, the communities where these incidents were alleged to have occurred have reacted, and they have dismissed any claim of explosions on oil and gas facilities in their domains, and reassuring that all critical government assets within their areas are safe, secure, and efficiently functioning. The incendiary comments by Minister Wike have not only strained political relationships, it has also provoked responses from militant factions. Stakeholders in the Niger Delta have expressed concerns over threats by militants to resume hostilities if perceived injustices such as the planned impeachment of Governor Fubara are actualized. The development proves the volatility of the region and the potential for political rhetoric to escalate into tangible security threats. This reckless statement, widely circulated and condemned, served as a catalyst for the following reactions. 1. Ijaw Youth Council ultimatum. The Ijaw Youth Council, in reaction to the statement made by Minister Wike, issued a stern warning and they vowed to defend their ethnic dignity. 2. Escalated militancy. Reports indicated a spike in pipeline bombings following Wike's comment, suggesting a direct correlation between his rhetorics and militant retaliation. Our recommendations. For the restoration of democratic sovereignties in Rivers State, we, the Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group, duly recommend the following. 1. Promotion of constructive dialogue. It is imperative for all political actors, particularly those in positions of influence, to engage in constructive dialogue aimed at resolving disputes amicably. Inflammatory rhetoric should be eschewed in favor of language that fosters unity and understanding among the diverse ethnic groups in Rivers State and in Nigeria as a whole. 2. Upholding democratic principles. The sanctity of democratic institutions must be fully preserved. Actions that undermine duly elected officials or disrupt the democratic process can precipitate unrest and erode public trust in elected leaders. Additionally, all grievances should be addressed through established legal and democratic channels. 3. Independent investigations. Allegations of complicity with militant activities are grave. It warrants thorough and impartial investigations. Such inquiries should be conducted by independent bodies to ensure credibility of the results, and it should be based on concrete evidence rather than political influence. 4. Ethical responsibility of public officials. Public officials must exercise restraint and exhibit a high degree of responsibility in their public statements. Recognizing the potential impact of their words on national unity and security, officials should prioritize discourse that promotes peace and cohesion, not the one that creates disunity. 5. Engagement with community leaders. The administration should deepen its engagement with community leaders, traditional rulers, and civil society organizations to address underlying issues fueling discontent. Collaborative efforts can lead to sustainable solutions that resonate with the grassroots populace.